Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a very wonderful day. And for most of you, it's like Friday. But, well, all of us, it's Friday. And some of you all will get 2 days off. Not so sure about me. But, hey, when you work for somebody else, you work 9 to 5. When you work for yourself, you work from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Boom! They don't tell you about that in the brochure. So, I hope you're having a great day. What's going on with me? We got a dump trailer to take to the dump. And I got a property back. Huge lesson learned from this one. Okay, so it's coming up. Stay tuned. Okay, so the way that I do my leases is if the rent's $850 a month, it is $1,250 discounted to $850 if they pay the first through the third. Okay, now had a property. This person was already there when I purchased the property. Within a month and a half, they're asking me to give them a copy of a lease so that they can get assistance with their power bill. I asked them, I said, what's the problem? Well, they're going to help us pay the power bill. And I said, is there an issue? Did you lose your job? Oh, no, we got all that covered and everything. They're just going to help us pay the power bill, okay? And a lot of times people are in this situation, for lack of better words, they've been in some type of government assistance or getting handouts from people their whole life, okay? And that's just the way that they do things. And I never did give them a lease, and she kept asking about it, and I said, ma'am, if I do that, I run a background check and a credit check. And she's like, okay. And I already know because they could not get the water on. The water company calls me and says, hey, this person's trying to get water turned on. And I said, well, I don't know that person. Who else? They gave me another name. I know that person. And they were like, yeah, they got a big past due balance from a previous address. And I'm like, okay, well, it's my property. That's the only person that's on the lease. That's the only person that should have utilities in their name. So, I already know that if I put this person and run them through my screening process, they go. Okay? This is a bad start. It has never worked out for me, as of yet, to have a existing tenant when I purchase a property, because the other property owners don't screen like I do. Now, I'll give you an example. Like this property in particular, his deposit that he asked for was $350 less than what I would ask for, okay? And I already had a relative of this person that moved out contact me and say, hey, I want to move in. Not a problem. I'm running background check, credit check. Great. Contract is like $560, $580. A lot of things in collections. Some of them having to do with cars. And so when I called the lady back, I said, look, I said, you don't meet the minimum criteria on the credit score. If you would like to move into the property, you need a double deposit. Well, why is that? I said, ma'am, you got to issue paying bills. Well, those are hospital bills. I understand part of them are. However, these that have to do with cars, there's an issue with paying bills. Back to myself, that's how we would need to do things. Well, okay, I'll call you in 2 weeks. I should have the rest of that money. Not a problem. So, back to the resident that was at my property. We do this dance back and forth on how, what shape the property needs to be in for them to get their deposit back. I get 3 different messages. Hey, we're done. I ride by, there's piles of trash in the backyard still and everything, and I'm like, it's not done. So then I come over there. The place is horrendous, okay? It just is. They live nasty. It's not clean. I mean, the guy told me, I've been over here all day cleaning. I opened up the oven, and there is a cookie pan full of tater tots that's been sitting for a couple days, okay? I tell him, look, y'all get this place clean and you give me a call when it's done, and I'll come back. And actually, while I was talking to the lady, she takes a phone call, and I just walked off and left. The lesson that I learned and that became apparent to me was, because I asked them, I said, help me to understand. Well, I've lived here, and I've lived here, and I've lived here before, and ain't nobody said I had to replace the blinds or anything like that. Two of those places she mentioned were public housing. And all of a sudden it dawned on me, said, Robert, no matter what you say, that person is never going to understand where you're coming from, because they have never gone through a screening like what you do. Every place that that person has lived, you show up, you just hand money, and then they let you live, okay? I don't do that. You know, I have expectations that you're going to take care of my properties to a certain degree. And, you know, these are my livelihood, and I need them to stay in good shape so that if I ever have to sell them, you know, I'm not having to do thousands and thousands of dollars worth of work, you know. And unfortunately, I understand where most landlords are is that they suck all the money out of these things and then they dump them. That's one way to do it. But again, you know, when she called me the next time and said, hey, we've done this, I said, ma'am, don't worry about anything. I said, if you'll just meet me there with the key, I'll give you your deposit back, okay? And here's the thing is when I said, you know, those blinds replaced, they said, we cannot do anything. We don't have any money. We have to get that deposit back from you to be able to replace these blinds. That's that paycheck to paycheck thing. And see, on the 3rd, I talked to them early in the day about the rent. Once I said it's $1,250 tomorrow, she was like, I can't afford that. And I don't think they had the rent to start with, okay? But it's one of those things that, you know, and you really, as a landlord, you really can't regulate how somebody lives inside your property, okay? You know, if not to sweep, they choose not to clean, they leave food out, you know, for days at a time on the counter and everything. You really don't have the ability to say, hey, you got to stop that. So the thing about it is that I just said, hey, look, I need a letter saying you surrender your rights to the property, copy of your ID, here's your deposit back. We call it, and, well, we don't have any lease. I said, ma'am, we do have a lease. It's verbal. Well, no, you got to have a lease. I said, no, ma'am, you don't. I said, if you didn't have a lease, then why did you pay me rent for 3 months? No answer. I said, in the eyes of the law, you have to give your rights up to the property and then give it back to me, because an eviction takes place, the state takes the property, and then they give it back to me, okay? And so that's what, in essence, has to happen. And again, what I was trying to do was to get them to come to my thinking, okay? And it's not a judgment call, but that person, unless there's some monumental change in their life, they will never be where I'm at with my way of thinking, okay? Everything that they did was totally acceptable and quo, all right? And I know those housing projects where they've lived at in the past, I know how they screen tenants. I know how those people have to leave them when they get out, and that explained everything, okay? The other thing is I never did give her a lease, and I never told her this is exactly what has to happen for you to move out and to get your deposit back. So I can't expect somebody to play by my rules if they don't know what those rules are. Thing about it is and all of a sudden it said, Robert, she is getting too much of your time. This is $500. It's a drop in the bucket, man. Just go. Just go. As soon as you get it back, you can make some adjustments and then get it rented again. We already got somebody that's interested, supposed to be bringing some money today. So what can you do? You know, be nice, smile, have a wonderful day, and figure out who's got your money.